Arbor Day is hands down my favorite time of year. It's never political, it's not controversial. It is literally a night to come together to celebrate all the good that's happening in our area, and I don't think we get to do that enough. So I'm excited. It's our 100th year. I know we've had a lot of people working behind the scenes, especially Miss Lori Kruzman. She worked very hard to make this evening happen. It looks beautiful, and we couldn't do this without you. Thank you so much. No matter what's going on in the world, even a global pandemic, I can always look out in our district at Founders Day and see our helpers. So seriously, thank you all for all that you do within our schools to help them do what's right for the kids, because the bottom line is that's always what matters. We're going to go ahead and start the evening by introducing our special guest, Mr. Mayor Bill McMurray, and he's going to have a special presentation for us. Bill?
Well, you know, I heard that remark that nothing political this evening, and then you introduced the mayor. So I'll try to be as nonpartisan as I can. It's really my honor to read this proclamation to you. And, you know, I did start my educational career at Mark Twain School. Is anybody here from Mark Twain tonight? Okay. I won't tell you how old I am, but it was a brand new school when I went to kindergarten. You still smell the brand new smell. Okay, well, this is a proclamation. The St. Joe PTA Council, 100 years of service. Whereas the St. Joseph PTA Council was founded in 1920 to 21 as a branch of the Missouri and National Congress of Mothers to promote the education, health, and safety of children, youth, and families of Missouri. And whereas their mission is to support and speak on behalf of children and youth in their schools, in the community, and before government bodies and other organizations that make decisions affecting children. And whereas the St. Joseph PTA Council assists parents in developing the skills they need to raise and protect their children, encourage parent and public involvement in the public school system, and strive to raise the standards of home life and secure adequate laws for the care and protection of children. And whereas they have assisted community efforts in providing funding for children through the Anti-Bullying Program, Regional Spelling Bee, Backpack Buddies, Performing Arts Association, Safety Town, Project Graduation, and assisted, am I still live? And assisted in efforts to provide funding for children through yearly $500 grants from the Unmet Needs Grant Program. And whereas the St. Joseph PTA Council provides leadership to all PTAs and PTSAs in the St. Joseph Public Schools, works to bring a closer relationship to the home and school, to develop cooperative efforts between parents and teachers, and continues to encourage others to put children first, furthering its mission for the betterment of all children. So now, therefore, I, Bill McMurray, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the City Council and as Mayor of the City of St. Joseph, do hereby proclaim today, Thursday, April 15th, as St. Joseph PTA Council 100 Years of Service Day in St. Joseph, Missouri. And here is the proclamation. Is that working now?
I hope. You're going to tell me no.
You know, you've done what the council's been trying to do for 3 years, and that's turn off my mic. So. Thank you. Thank you.
At this time, I welcome Rianne Williams from Central High School for talks for the evening. She is our scholarship recipient for the year. She's came to every one of our council meetings to give us a little word of advice, and we appreciate her time. We know senior year is crazy, so we are so thankful for you. Rianne?
What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want. Jane, go.
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I welcome Dr. Doug Van Stile to the stage.
Good evening. It's very nice to see everybody, for the most part, mask-free. 100 years is something to celebrate, and that's not counting the 100 years that we just spent from last March till now. Because in all honesty, I think that we know that when you talk about parent and teacher association, I think this last year plus has really shown the value and the connection that really should be there between parents and teachers and how we associate, and the value of how parents are the first teachers in their kids' lives. And hopefully the parents also realize how valuable the educators are to your lives and the lives of your kids. COVID taught us nothing else. Hopefully that's one of the things that people greatly understand and appreciate is the value of our educators and what they do bring to the table. And as was mentioned earlier, this is just a great time to get together because there, in spite of maybe some of the things you hear or see or read on Facebook, there are a lot of positive things that take place in this school district on a daily basis. And many of them you're more privy to than others, maybe not so much this last year since you haven't been able to get into the schools, but you also need to be the mouthpieces and the voices of what goes on within our schools, because there are a lot of fantastic things that for whatever reason don't make front page or don't get onto the TV cameras for people to see and hear about, because for whatever reason, they just choose not to. But at some point, I think we have to be able to also realize we have to come together as a community, and it doesn't matter where you're from, what school you go to, we're all in this to make our kids and our community better. And that doesn't mean we'll always agree on everything, but as this is a parent-teacher association, it should be really a parent-teacher community association. And that's hopefully something we can continue to strive for, and this just may be a fresh start for that, because with everything else that's taken place, I think it's time for a fresh start. So thank you for everything that you do and will do. Hopefully we'll finish out this year on some very positive notes, and as we move into the summer, and next year, hopefully COVID-free, we'll be able to get back to some sense of normal. But I would also tell you that as a school district, we need to be better coming out of this than we were going into it. And I think that you'll see that, you'll hear that, and hopefully that will be the positive things that roll out of the mouths of people moving forward. So again, thank you for all that you do to support us. We do deeply appreciate it and look forward to our continued partnership as we move forward. So thank you.
I would like to welcome Mr. Soames for our invocation for the evening.
I can only echo what they have already said. This community, whether it seems like it or not, is incredibly grateful for the work of both teachers and parents, because I stand up here as one, both a teacher and a parent. And the cooperation can't just be minimized. So thank you all for what you've done. And Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge." So let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we are grateful for the opportunity to gather this evening. We thank you for life, for opportunity, for this community, for family and freedom, for our schools, for education. We pray for your guidance and wisdom as we work to serve one another. We pray that you would strengthen us as we face challenges together. Pray you give us eyes to see and hearts of compassion and a will to serve our fellow man. Thank you for the dedication of those who are here this evening and the great desire that's evident to see students grow and thrive and succeed at life. I pray that you bless the work of our hands. I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
At this time, dinner will be served. We hope you guys enjoyed dinner. If you ever get an opportunity that you need catering, please keep up with always takes care of us. Last year we had a snowstorm and had to cancel on last minute, and they still took time to cancel on it to make it happen for us. So huge thank you to Spin Kids Athletes for Tonight Center. We have a few special guests with us. Tonight we have the immediate past president of the Missouri PTA, Susan Rupert, here with us. We also have a few of our past council presidents here with us tonight. I have Joyce Ruka and Lori Kruzman. These are amazing women who have dedicated so much time and energy into the council. And if I can have both of those ladies come up, I have special gifts for you. Again, thank you girls so much for being here. And at this time, Susan Rupert is going to give us a special speech that she's worked so hard to prepare for us and traveled here for us tonight. So we're always thankful and blessed when you're here with us, Susan.
She makes it sound like traveled a long ways. I only came from Cameron, so. Of course, John was driving, so maybe it was a long trip after all. One thing I love about Stony Creek, other than their facility, they always have nice big podiums, but I have to stand on my tiptoes sometimes to see over them. I'm very honored to join you this evening. I realize for some members in our audience that this might be your first Founders Day event, and you may not sure why we have gathered here this evening. Obviously, it's for an opportunity for fabulous food, great fellowship, and well-deserved recognition. But it's also about reflection and paying tribute to those dedicated individuals that took an idea and created the largest volunteer child advocacy organization in the country, the PTA. In 1897, Alice Burney and Missouri's own B.B. Apperson Hearst founded the National Congress of Parents and Teachers. Over 120 years ago, their mission was to better the lives of children in education, health, and safety. A very bold goal, and not an easy task, especially for two women in the late 1800s, when women could not vote, and the means of communication and transportation were pretty limited. No internet, no social media, and certainly no cell phone at their fingertips. In 1926, Selena Sloan Butler formed the National Congress of Colored Parents and Teachers to advocate for children, especially African American children in segregated communities. In June of 2020, we marked the 50th anniversary when these two organizations signed a Declaration of Unification and officially became one association, today's National PTA. An important part of our organization's history and our continued efforts to serve and make a difference for every child. Staying current and relevant is very important to the success of PTA at all levels. Missouri PTA recently made some major decisions regarding our state office building. Technologies such as the internet, cloud storage, email, and even smaller copying machines made the way we operate and support our members much different. After careful consideration, we came to the realization that the two-story, 4,700 square foot building we were occupying was way much bigger than what our physical needs were. The building has been sold, and the state office has moved into a smaller, much more efficient location. As immediate past president, I was able to assist with this transition. If you have ever moved, you know what it's like to pack everything you own into two boxes. It can be quite a chore and sometimes very emotional. I was excited to move Missouri PTA into this new chapter, but also overwhelmed by the amount of history I was packing up. I found documents like this. This is the original officer installation document that shows ceremonies that was created by a typewriter and used correction wood for the mistakes. Corrections when proofreading were sent in from members of the board. This is a correction that was received from someone who lived in Springfield. It was mailed in. Now, I mean postal mailed. It was not emailed for the correction. In 1984, 225 copies of that document were made on the mimeograph machine, using these directions, step by step. Do the cover first, then do this. I mean, a mimeograph machine. There's probably some of us in that room that's never even heard of what a mimeograph machine is. The cover was hand drawn. And then in the 1990s, stencils were used for the wording, and then the early clip art techniques were used. Right there, the original cut and paste. This document is probably, and it could very well be, one of the original trifold handouts. Your PTA dues, a small investment with large returns. Now, it doesn't have a date on it, but it was obviously made with a typewriter because you can feel the raised lettering on it. And there's definitely places that correction fluid was used. It has great points about PTA benefits, services, training, and advocacy that are still relevant today. I would like to share the 4 bullet points they use to put the cost of dues in perspective. How much do you pay to see a movie? What does it cost to join a bowling league? Do you belong to a union or a civic club? Do you subscribe to a magazine? How much does it cost each year? What value do you place on learning to become a better parent? What price to improve a child's future? To secure better laws to protect him? To seek a chance for each child to succeed? Looking at these documents gave me a whole new appreciation of the past efforts that had been gone through to produce resources for our units, and where we have advanced to today, and what the possibilities are for tomorrow. There were pictures of my predecessors, convention memorabilia, proclamations from the governors, national awards recognizing Missouri PTA for its achievements, and meeting minutes from as far back as 1920 bound into books. These artifacts were being sent to the Boone County Historical Society, so I knew they would be safe and available to future Missouri PTA members. But the tears still filled my eyes. I felt so thankful for these committed volunteers and their accomplishments, for Missouri children since 1912. Over the years, I have attended this event and shared my thoughts with you about challenges, accomplishments, and the importance of the partnership between school, home, and the community for student success. Normal PTA stuff. But the last 365 plus calendar days have been very different for all of us. Leslie Boggs, the current National PTA president, recently made a statement that pretty well sums it all up. Last year was overshadowed by COVID-19 pandemic. Schools and PTAs, families, teachers, and children struggled to keep some sense of normalcy in a year that was and continues to be anything but normal. It became very clear that families across the country needed and continue to need support in 4 key areas: social and emotional well-being and mental health, food and security, distance learning, internet and device access. COVID-19 brought fear and uncertainty into all of our lives. What masks should we be wearing? 1-ply or 2-ply? Are gaiters and shields effective? Should we stand 3 foot or 6 foot apart? We became toilet paper and disinfected borders. Despite the pandemic, PTAs across the country found ways to make a difference in their school and communities. And we continue to help ensure our children have what they need to reach their full potential. Even with all the chaos and confusion, COVID has made one thing perfectly clear. PTA really isn't a noun, a person, place, or thing, but rather a verb. A word that shows action, occurrence, and a state of being. PTA, an action plan working to support your child's success. There's no wrong way to PTA. In person with masks on, or from a distance via Zoom. Porch drop-offs, drive-by parades, yard signs, Facebook recognitions, virtual field trips, STEM activities, or reading nights. However you do it, it's all an investment in your child. PTA to support your child's teachers and schools. PTA to advocate on issues impacting your child and affect change at the local, state, and national levels. PTA to build a stronger, more diverse, and inclusive school community. We invite every family to PTA because we can do more together than we can alone and apart. In closing, I'd like to share one more historical document with you. It is a booklet printed in 1964, and it is inspirational thoughts from PTAs from across the country. And this particular inspirational thought is about Founders Day, and it was submitted by the Washington PTA out of School District Number 1 in Chicago. We joy to tell the story of PTA's great worth and faith. It's faith in youngsters learning no matter what their birth. A simple tale, a legend of bygone history, a promise for our boys and girls that's sure to keep them free. When Alice Burney and Phoebe Apperson Hearst set out to end the heartbreak of child labor at its worst, they toured and talked, and many came to offer them their aid, so boys and girls could go to school and not be underpaid. Fine laws abound our land today to guard our young ones' years. 'Twas these lovely founders' courage helped banish the old fears. In gratefulness we honor them, these heralds of PTA, and many others through the years who bravely joined on. So today, inspired by them, pick up the task and one. Parents and teachers, stand guard today. This vigil is yours to share. Youth needs new standards of learning. When they call, we must be there. Thank you for taking time tonight to reflect and celebrate our accomplishments and renew our commitment to be a powerful voice for all children, a relevant resource for parents, and a strong advocate for public education. Happy birthday, PTA and St. Joe PTA Council. May you live forever and strong. Thank you very much. Madam President, may I take a moment of personal privilege? I realize that you don't install your officers, but I'd like to take just a moment to recognize Jennifer Kearns, who is going to be the next St. Joe PTA Council, correct, President? Okay, I'd like to give you a small token of our appreciation from Missouri PTA, your very own book, 100 Years of Missouri PTA, and a pin of the state. Thank you very much for your commitment.
Thank you.
We will begin the awards portion of our ceremony with the St. Joseph PTA Council Outstanding PTA Volunteer Award. A book has been donated to each of our schools in honor of the volunteers. Also note that the PTA Council has donated a book in honor of each unit president to their school's library as well. Those are on the table for you guys to bring home this evening. When I call your name, please come to the front. We have a certificate and a pin for you, and then the district will also take a photo. For Cardin Park, we have George Clinton. Olin, we have Samantha Jones. Edison, a representative from the PTA. Ellison, Melissa Bratton. Field, Susan Eckmuller. I'm sorry, Eckenmuller. I probably butchered your name. I apologize. Hosea, Jackie Kiger. Hyde, PTA. Lindbergh, Pastor Tom Wilson in the Shawnee Tower Baptist Church. Mark Twain, Sarah Clark. Oak Grove, Ruthie Sykes. Parkway PTA. Pershing, Mindy Patton. Pickett, PTA. Skate, the PTA Executive Board. Bodie, PTSA. Rubidoux, the Rubidoux PTSA. Spring Garden would like to nominate theirs in memory of Luke McCoy. Truman, Lynn Jenkins. Central, Bobby Kronk. Lafayette, Liz Payne. And Benton High School in the memory of Luke McCoy. This evening, we've also tied a red ribbon around all of your nameplates in honor of Luke McCoy this evening because we all know that regardless of what's going on in our community, he was always the first one to be there for the kids and cheer everybody on. So. Huge thank you to our volunteers that were nominated. We would really like to honor all of you, but we just don't have enough time. The things you do in our schools every day are truly what make our community what it is. So thank you. We will move on to the Davis Langemak PTA Council Award of Excellence. This award goes to a person who has made an outstanding difference in the life of a child within our district. This is the entry submitted. It says, my nominee has made a difference by. Carrie Leslie has made a significant difference in our lives of the students she services as the speech language pathologist in the Oak Grove Elementary School from the moment that they have began work. Carrie's loving, caring personality is easily noticed upon first meeting her, and she effortlessly makes each child feel special. Carrie has incredible patience and compassion. Even the most challenging and potentially defeating situations, Carrie finds a silver lining and believes in the potential of her students. Her extensive knowledge of speech and language development have made her not only a superstar SLP for students, but she has easily become known as a trusted and sought-after resource for her colleagues. This year, Carrie worked tirelessly in partnership with the Missouri Assistive Technology Department in order to secure devices to trial the students with communication needs. The No-AT sponsors an assistive technology reimbursement program, which allows individuals and organizations in need of communication devices to recoup their funds spent on the costly devices. Because of Ms. Leslie's efforts, several students were able to trial devices this year, and the St. Joseph School District was also eligible for reimbursement of the funds spent providing devices to our students. This work was in addition to the countless number of hours she spends planning for and providing quality service to our students, coordinating meetings with families, and serving as a resource for teachers and fellow SLPs. There really are no words that would appropriately express the incredible work ethic of Ms. Leslie. She is committed and dedicated to her students, and quite simply, she makes everyone around her better. She has given a voice to students that previously did not have one, and as a result, her work doesn't begin and end with the school calendar. She has provided a service to students that will follow them well beyond their school years, improving their quality of life and living, and allowing them to be heard when others may not have even believed it was possible. So please, Carrie Leslie, please come to the stage for your award.
This is a book that's to go to the library, and there's a sticker in there that is dedicated to you. So you get lots of great pictures. Let's get your photo up over there. Congratulations.
Also this evening, the PTA Council has donated a book to each school in honor of the Board of Education members who are here. We have Tammy Paisley in attendance tonight, and we have made certificates for the study board members who were not able to make it to bring back to them. Thank you, Tammy.
want to take another second. I know Erica mentioned that on each one of your name plates there's a little red ribbon. And I just really want us to, tonight's always, I mean, literally, this is my favorite night of the whole year. Christmas doesn't even compare. Because it's just so important that we lift up each other and we recognize all of the amazing things that people do. And I just wanted to make sure that we just took a moment to make sure that we all understand what we lost. And Dr. Luke McCoy was a huge asset to this district. And when I got word that he was no longer here, I knew it was a great loss to our district. So cherish those that are with you and hold them dear, because tomorrow's never promised. So I just want us to really think about that. And when we're thinking about moving forward and doing things, is that the love that you feel for people and the things that they do for each other and for all of us and for our kids, just cherish that, because it's really, it's very important. So anyway, we're going to move on to the Missouri PTA Building Fund honoree. And as Susan has announced, so every year, as long as I can remember, we have a tradition with the PTA Council, is that we honor the outstanding teacher of the year from the previous year and also outstanding support staff. So this first award is for Missouri PTA Building Fund, and that will go to Emily Sumner. Yay. Emily is at Lafayette High School, and like I said, she's a current support person of the year, and we will make a donation to Missouri State PTA in honor of Emily, and we'll get that. I think we have a book also that we will get to Lafayette High School. Okay, so our next one is the Carolyn B. Allman honoree. I have to mark these off as I go along the list. If I don't check it, it ain't done. So the next one is the Carolyn B. Allman, which Colin Pettigrew. If you would please come forward. He is the teacher of the year. He's at Ruby Middle School. And we will make a donation to the Carolyn B. Allman Scholarship Fund with Missouri PTA in your honor. Okay, so next on the agenda, we have the Clarence Carpenter Memorial Fund, and Heather is going to come up, and she's going to make that presentation.
Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know, the Clarence Carpenter Foundation is an organization of the people. Well, hi, Michelle Rubik. That's somebody I went to elementary school with. The Clarence Carpenter Foundation is an organization of the PTA that supports children in vision care and eyeglasses who might not otherwise have that support. It's a great piece or offshoot of the PTA, and we are so excited this year to honor a person who, as Susan said, when she shared all of the PTA documents from the last 100 years that were stored in Missouri, which I thought was the coolest part of tonight's presentation, those documents were really talking about the joining the PTA. You know, the benefits of joining the PTA. You get to advocate. There's training. There's benefits that carry out for yourself and for students. And this honoree has done those things. She has advocated for students. She has advocated for healthcare, vision care, wellness. She has advocated for teachers. She's advocated for parents and families. And she's also trained almost every person in here. If you are an exec board member at any school here, and especially the Carpenter Board, she's trained you or had a hand in that. And she has definitely been a benefit to this board in a way that say enough, we just want to honor Lori Priestman.
That's really sweet. And I love Carpenter Board. Please make sure that's in your budget. Because honestly, over the years, we have just touched so many lives. So many lives. Kids that couldn't afford to have their glasses, couldn't afford to go, have dental work done. And we started out with just vision. And really, we've expanded it really to any kind of health issue. And there's so many little ones that we have helped, and well, even up to the high school kids. We've had kids in preschool all the way up through, I think we bought goggles one year for swim. Yeah.
Yes.
So we've done it all, but it's thanks to your contributions that you make every year. So please make sure that you put that in your budget. This little fun, but thank you. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Sorry, she's throwing me for a loop there.
Okay, so for Help a Child to See, which is a fundraiser that the Carpenter Board does with all of the school districts. And each of your nurses at your school district is the one who runs this fundraiser. We cannot thank the St. Joe School District nurses enough, and that Help a Child to See. And these are the schools that have given. We want to thank each of you. Your certificate's on your table that you can take back with you. Benton High School, who is given for 12 consecutive years. Central High School, who's given for 20 consecutive years. Lafayette High School, who's given for 9 consecutive years. Bodie for 14 consecutive years. Preview for 21 consecutive years. Spring Garden for 29 consecutive years. Truman, who's given for 20 consecutive years. Holman for 24 consecutive years. Edison for 29 consecutive years. Ellison for 20. And Field also for 29 consecutive years. Carden Park for 7, which I think, have you been around 7 years? 7 years. Fabulous, like that's 100%. Hosea for 20 years, Hyde 22, Lindbergh 21, Mark Twain for 21 years, Oak Grove for 7, also 100%. Parkway for 21 years, Pershing 21, Pickett 18, Skate for 22, Webster 13, Heatley 8 years, the district offices for 30 consecutive years, Virtual Academy, 1 year, 100%, love it, and Hilliard's for 1 year. Thank you all so very much for your support.
Check, check. Okay, our next one is the Lifetime PTA Leadership Honoree. And this is a special one for me. This is someone who has dedicated a lot of time and effort. So this was the application that was submitted to us. This individual has been this particular unit's PTA president when the nominee's daughter started over Roadrunner Journey. I was an eager first-time mom to join the PTA. This person graciously showed me the ropes. When her term ended, there was an opening on the board. Stepping up nervously, I accepted president of PTA. She was so eager and eagerly and softly helped me through this crazy COVID year. We all know how crazy it is. She is helping gain PTA members without having a physical presence in the school. She dedicates so much time to this PTA. She is so deserving of this award, and I truly know that she is because I've seen her do a lot of her work. So Becca Matthews, would you please come forward? And so our next award, and I'm looking around and I thought that we had someone missing. She's not here tonight. She was supposed to be. Our Distinguished Service honoree is Laura Henderson. So So hopefully she's looking at us through Zoom. We do have a certificate for her. Laura, she is our comic relief on the council. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
And, because I'm kind of always the really, these are the bylaws and we have to follow the bylaws and this is, we got to do it the right way. Laura is definitely our comic relief and she's worked on the council with us for many, many years. And we each year have the choice as an executive group or as a committee for Founders Day to decide if we want to give out this or not. And this year, this is her last year that she is going to participate on council. So I wanted to make sure that we recognized her, and I thought she was going to be here tonight, so I'm a little sad. But hopefully she's watching at home. So congratulations, Laura, and we will get you your framed certificate. So we do appreciate everything that you do, and you will be missed. Okay, on to the next one. Our next one is for the Outstanding Unit Award. And first of all, Bessie Ellison's not here tonight, but they were the winners last year. And per our tradition, we have a nice little plaque that will go to the school in memory of getting this award. And so we will get that little plaque to them. And it's too bad they're not here tonight, but I will read you the nomination for our winners tonight. This particular PTA has been an invaluable asset to the staff, students, and families at our school, this school's community. This group works countless hours to provide for our school and ensure that no need goes unmet. The members of our board are extremely invested, and our group is diverse, representing parents and students that are both enrolled in person and virtually. It's important to include those in virtual. The group has provided a number of significant opportunities for our students, and because of their efforts, this school is a safer, more productive place to learn. One example of these efforts is the fence that was installed around this school's playground because of our PTA. Fencing the playground has allowed all students the ability to safely play within the area. This PTA also invested in window decals for the front of our school and our library windows. Not only has this project enhanced the visual appeal of the school, but it has also increased student safety by limiting visibility into our foyer between our library and commons. A third project provided by our PTA was a large supply of dual-purpose yard signs. One side of the sign is used to welcome our newest, and they put in there what their mascot is, I'm not gonna say. At this school in August when they came to kindergarten. The other side of the sign is used to wish our 6th grade well in the spring when they leave us to transition to middle school. PTA provides so much for our families, and this goes well beyond material objects. They are organized family nights, literacy nights at no charge to our families. Carnival and our school carnival has been a favorite event. Sorry, allergy season. Has been our favorite event, which is largely financed by the PTA budget. The students eagerly look forward to this every year. During the COVID-19 shutdown period, PTA organized a drive-through event in which families could drop off cards and gifts during Staff Appreciation Week to let teachers and staffs know, God bless you, teachers know that they were valued and their efforts were greatly appreciated. They also provide t-shirts and gift bags to help celebrate our 6th grade students with a parade style, say that 10 times, send-off last spring as well. Most recently, this PTA pursued and received a grant that will allow us to construct an outdoor learning space for our students. This outdoor classroom is anticipated to be completed in a phase and will be including a safety and shock absorbing surface, tables and benches, an oak tree, and a seasonal sunshade. Now, do y'all realize that an oak tree is our symbol for the PTA? So that is so cool. Okay, I just lost my place. Such a space will provide much needed changes in scenery and will be even even more valuable when seeking opportunities for mask breaks for our students. Should the need of these masks continue or reappear, and let's all pray no. Every aspect of this project has been designed to require the least amount of upkeep possible for the school and district maintenance teams. Our team has focused pride in leaving a project behind when there's no doubt serve as a showcase that will likely be visited by returning students and families for years to come. This PTA continually seeks opportunities to enhance the learning experience of our families. Their impact is extensive, and we are blessed to have such a caring and passionate team supporting our school. Can y'all guess who it is? And I'll just tell you all also, that's who is helping me today get this beautiful room set up. So I greatly appreciate their efforts. And John is here for our next presentation.
This is going to be really difficult for me. I'm a rule follower and I love agendas, so I get to deviate from the agenda just quickly. Erica Caples, if you're in the room, can you stand up, please? 2 years ago, we sat down with Erica at a council meeting, and we said, so this year, when we go home for spring break, none of our students are going to come back. We're going to finish the school year virtually. When we start the school year, we're going to be masked, we're going to be 6 feet, all of that. We told her that in advance. The executive committee, we knew what was going on. Sorry, district officials, didn't tell you. We knew all this has happened, and she gladly accepted. Seriously, she has been an amazing president. This is, if you look through the list of presidents on the next page, you'll see that she's the 59th, and I feel like she needs 2 or 3 asterisks at the end of her name for the work that she's done. I've known Erica just for about 2 years, and it's evident that she really cares about the kids in our community. Just a little side note, Erica's email account was hacked probably about a year ago. So the joke is every committee meeting that we have is, all right, who got a letter from Erica? Who helped Erica this time? And it seems like I'm not usually very gullible, but every time it came up, I was like, yes, I'll help you. What do you need? I wanted to do that every time. And really, I think that's a testament to Erica, because I know that she would do that for any one of you here. She would do that for any one of our students. So, Erica, thank you. All right, before I go to the agenda again, Susan, I have to ask you a question. Is a mimeograph the same thing as a ditto machine?
I think so.
Do you know? Okay.
I think, but
I think it is, and I feel like, is there anybody else that had a ditto? My first year of teaching, I had a ditto machine. So, okay, I dated myself.
we got those when I was in high school.
High school, okay, well, I'll move on. All right, so now I get to recognize our outstanding principal for this year. And I am not as crafty as Lori and those that have given this honor before. They've done such a nice job of leaving out the pronouns and the name of the person. I tried this probably 6 times at home over the last couple of days. I just couldn't do it. So you're going to know this person right away. I feel like we need to do him justice by that. Mr. McCarthy. practice that. Nice job. All right, Mr. McCarthy became the Hosea principal during the 2018-2019 school year. As you are aware, that was the same year that Lake Contrary and Hosea Elementary combined students and staff. Not only were the kids being put together, we were also getting a new principal. Everyone was nervous. Justin, however, handled it amazingly and managed to make everyone feel welcomed. And before I go any further, I want you to know that Hosea, the PTA, want to make sure that they're not just nominating him for the work that he did this year, but the years before. Here's some of the reasons why Justin is an amazing principal and person. Justin wanted to have a mural in the Hosea cafeteria that would include the hawk wings and the traditions from Southside. Not only did he want their input, but he also wanted to have the community's input. Before the pandemic, how many times have we said that? Before the pandemic happened, we planned to have a community input night at Hosea, inviting everyone from the community to come to Hosea, tour the school, and give ideas for our mural. Justin also looked at the PTA this year for assistance when ordering school magnets to hand out at the back to school night. His magnets had teachers, contact information, important dates, and the ever important Power School information. This was a great idea and was supported by a PTA, a simple but useful solution for the parents and staff. When Justin became the principal at Hosea, he changed the dynamic of our school. When parents were frustrated with the drop-off and pickup routine, he made it better by designing one entrance for grades 3 through 5 and buses, and another entrance for K through 2, and then one exit. This helped tremendously with the confusion, and it wasn't a cluster of traffic anymore. Parents were also frustrated that student patrols were out at the crosswalks without supervision. Justin changed that. Now a teacher is present at every crosswalk, both morning and afternoon, directing traffic, being a mentor, and keeping our kids safe. Strive for 5 has been a very big deal for the St. Joseph School District, and Justin made sure to encourage students to strive for 5. Justin has set up quarterly goals for students, and if they were met, he would do some pretty crazy things. He has been taped to the wall, and on Valentine's Day 2020, he went to the roof for the duration of the school. With Justin's wild imagination, he was able to bring Hosea's attendance up. And Justin, I was wondering, did you just do that because you forgot it was Valentine's Day?
I actually did it because it was Valentine's.
Is your wife here?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Since Justin has become principal, the awards assemblies are more enjoyable. He has really worked hard with the students to be kind, respectful toward their peers. At one of the awards assembly, he announced that the class that was the most respectful would be able to pick up what he did next. A 3rd grade class won and dressed Mr. McCarthy in a pretty pink princess dress, and he also had to kiss a frog. Again, the kids loved it. Dr. Van Zyl, Dr. Wentz, we have a district meeting next week, right? Can we require him to bring that dress? Wear the dress?
Doesn't fit because of COVID.
The Second Harvest Food Bank collection at Hosea had a goal for each grade to bring a number of items. The students rewarded Justin sat in a plastic kiddie pool while students from each grade level came on stage to make a hawk feast. I'm not sure what that is, but you guys know, a hawk feast. It was hilarious and the students loved it. Justin didn't love it as much as the students, but he was teaching our students to help our community and to always follow through on our commitments. It's no secret that this year has had its challenges. Justin and his staff are still trying to make the kids have a fun time at school. The week of Christmas break, Justin and our vice principal were real life elves on the shelf. Costumes were worn. One elf was on the roof. Another one was in the tree. They were persistent. Neither elves moved until every student was in the building. Justin grew up in the St. Joseph School District, particularly in the South Side. His passion to make our school better, our students happier, and more engaged to learn is a refreshing, not only as a parent, PTA member, but also as a parent. An outstanding principal goes above and beyond what is expected every day, every year. Justin is an example of an outstanding principal. Congratulations, Justin McCarthy, the 2021-22 PTA Principal of the Year.
Okay, so I'm sure my wife is probably in the back saying, please don't give this guy a microphone. Actually, at my own mother's funeral, my grandmother sat about 3 rows behind me, and my Uncle Jack, who everybody compares me to, yelled out, will you please shut up in the middle of the funeral? So, just so you know, that's who I'm like. So, really, I don't have a whole heck of a lot to say. I do want to kind of piggyback on the conversations we've had about Luke McCoy this year. I've had the blessing to go to his funeral. Took my oldest son Porter with me, and when we sat down, he just kind of looked around and he was like, "My God, Dad, do you think you'll have this many people at your funeral?" And of course, my answer was no. But then as you reflect on it a little bit, I used to lecture kids back in Spring Garden Middle School all the time about, you don't tell somebody they look ugly just because they look ugly. You just sugarcoat that a little bit. And I said, you're really writing checks to your own, or tickets to your own funeral. And I kind of went back to that vision again. And, as I went into this, mentorship was my goal. And whenever I was at Luke McCoy's, I was like, my gosh, this guy was a mentor to kids and adults. And so, really, at the end of the day, I hope at the end of my career, I can say I've touched as many lives as him, and that's really my goal going forward from this. But I really appreciate the recognition, and we're going to keep doing good work down in Hosea. So thank you guys.
Again, I thank you all for being here tonight. I told them 2 years ago, I said, if you guys call me into this, I'm not talking in front of people, and I sure showed them, like I didn't do it. So, so thank you for bearing with me this evening and for taking the time to be here. We